Bro, why you always eating something on the show?
The same reason why you always reading something on the damn show.
Man, because I love comics and that's why we kickstarting them right now. Ladies and gentlemen, today there are no time for comics. Well, I mean, there's always time for comics, and you should always get your comic on. Yeah, but today we kickstarting comics. Yeah, I am the unknown factor.
And I'm Jay D-Day Hardaway.
Yeah,
And
this is kickstarting comics. Yeah, a little side quest we're starting over here because if there's going to be a quest, there's always got to be side quests, man. What game you got ain't has side quests? On this particular side quest, we're more than happy to welcome episode 3 from the questionnaire. Ariel Medel in the house. How you doing, man?
Hi, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. And
Oh
you?
man, I'm doing phenomenal, Ariel. Man, it's a pleasure to have you back. It's also
great.
a pleasure to have you as the first guest on Kickstarting Comics. You know what I mean? This new side quest we're starting over here for everyone that whether if you're crowdfunding, hit us up, man. We're trying to let you pitch your comic to everyone that wants to hear it. Right? To that, I know you've got Adelita 3017 coming up, Ariel. Right? And I just gotta say, right off the bat, give us a hard pitch, bro. Right? What can you say about that that just makes people want to read it? Because I know they're looking at the art from it right now. While they, oh well, if you're on Spotify or YouTube, and I think maybe Amazon, I'm really
You
not
may not
sure.
be.
Right? Right? Because you may be on Audible. If you're on Audible, you're just listening. You ain't watching. But if you're on one of those two, you're seeing the beautiful art from this comic by Ariel. Right? But storyline wise, man, give us the hard sell.
Well, in a nutshell, it's a post-apocalyptic action and sci-fi adventure. And it has some twists in the story. So Adelita or Adelita is the main character. The story is set in the far future in the year 3017, and it takes place mostly in a ravaged Mexico. So there has been a deceased after many apocalypses that have taken place. There was a disease which turns men or humans into machines. So there are many like what I call biomechanical uh, beings who are the ones who take advantage of the simple people in the few towns in which was northern Mexico, in the few towns that are left. So Adelita used to be a ranger. There were groups of rangers to defend those little towns. So she's one of the ones left. So she's trying to do what she can to protect the people of the desert. Uh, However, there are people looking for her because there's a key to who she is, which is something that we're going to find out as the story progresses. But while that happens, we're going to have a lot of action, badass action, high octane action, and a lot of cool stuff we'll encounter along the way. So there's witches, there's a bad witch, a good witch. There's a ton of Mexican folklore. There are anthropomorphic coyotes. Uh, so there's a lot of cool stuff which helps the story take place. The story is Adelita being the key to the salvation of the world. But not going to give away why. But that's something that you need to find out, and you need to buy the comic in order to know that. So that's basically my pitch.
That's a hell of a pitch, Ariel. I mean, you're including a
Yeah.
lot of different things within that. I'm curious, man. What made you want to throw so many different? I mean, because there's several different genres of several different things. From you got the werewolves to you've got witches of both a good and bad variety, and then you've got a disease that is cybernetic, which The only thing, it's funny because I think of that, and the only thing I can think in comparison to that would be like the board. You know what I mean? I can't think of
The
anything
one.
else that would be like any kind of cybernetic disease. And I wouldn't even necessarily, that's not really a disease so much as it's a species. So that's a whole other thing. So I'm very curious as to how you made it to where a disease developed that caused cybernetic mutations. And what made you think of that?
Well, it's kind of part of the secret of the story, how the disease developed. But there were there's these bad guys, and that's explained in issue one. One of them is called Mechanicus, which used to be a scientist, and there's an evil witch called Doña Masacres. So they merged science and magic, but in a bad way. And in the story, it is explained that there is a good way to do it, but they did it in a bad way. And the result of that, one of the results of that was that disease.
That's
I cannot wait to read this. I'm just saying.
yeah, and look, for
And
anybody that wants to check it out, the link is in the description. You can get to the Kickstarter. You can help Ariel fund this so this project does come out and gets into your hands. I just want to let you know that. Um, Dude, there's so many different depths of that story. I'm very curious as to where. So what was your initial inspiration to create this? Like, what made you want to blend so much together?
well, first of all, the project is live right now. The Kickstarter is live right now, so everyone can go on and check it out and back. And well, there are many inspirations. Mainly, I'm from the north of Mexico. I'm from the desert, and but I've been all over Mexico, the north, the center, the south, and so I know a little bit about the folklore of each part. Um, but I also wanted that, which seems like a very traditional part, to also have a kind of sci-fi edge. And in order to do that, well, I introduced that cybernetic part, that part with robots and all of that. So something very interesting about this disease is that it turns people into mindless creatures, and they start turning into robots. So you can see their rotting flesh and all of that, but also at the same time, you start seeing parts which are made of metal that are replacing the human parts. And that's probably that's like something symbolic to what's happening. I would say to society where we are becoming more and more dependent on technology in a bad way, where we forget to have like human interaction. So there was a little bit of that for the inspiration, and the setting and the folklore of Mexico was because I'm from Mexico, and I've had I have had the idea to do something including an Adelita, which is basically a term used for the soldaderas or Mexican female Mexican fighters that actually existed in Mexican Revolution. So they were badass women who carried rifles, guns, and all of that. So I've always wanted to do a comic book or a story that included an Adelita, and so I did.
All I know is, Ariel, you answered my next question before I was going to even ask it, which was why you decided to pick a female lead for your comic. But never mind, Hardaway.
Yeah.
Hardaway has nothing to say.
Sorry. No, I literally just can't wait to read it. I ain't trying to look. He gave a sales pitch. He told everybody what it's about and whatnot. I'm not trying to get any deeper and try to get this man to reveal anything to these people. Give him some
That's our
money.
job. That's
Give
our
the man some
job,
fucking
Hardaway.
money.
It's our job to get him to reveal things so people give him more money. What are you talking about?
Look, you see what is being drawn here. And he told you the synopsis of the story. All right, people. If you're not intrigued, something's wrong with you. That's all. That's all that is. If you do not, if you're not just like, look, this man is talking about some straight up brujas, causing some problems and creating a disease with a mad scientist. He done said this.
Yeah.
And you don't want to read that?
Steve, can I say I love
Like,
how you said it was like you use the technology as far as because you feel it's something that we've become too dependent upon and really just I think a lot of people aren't aware of it. I think a lot of people like it is a negative thing. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we use this technology and most people have absolutely no idea how it works. You know what I mean? Like not even the slimmest. It's just a computer in their pocket and they just accept it and they have not even a slender of knowledge of what comprises it. You know, I'm not saying I'm a phone expert and could sit here and do all this, but I mean, I'd like to say I at least have a sliver of knowledge as far as how all of this operates, both on a hardware and a software level. Um, and I think that's the problem. And I think like I'm curious, are you ever going to play into that aspect that it's two people and they're playing with magic and technology, which are things that I think we as a society don't fully grasp at all, like not as a whole. Are you ever going to play into the fact that that's part of the problem within the comic?
uh, maybe, but I think that right now, at least with the first arc, which is actually that's another thing that I have to mention. It's planned as a 6 issue story arc. At least in the first story arc, we're going to. I think I'm going to concentrate a little bit about the separation that we've been having from nature. Uh, because of technology. It is not that technology is bad, but I feel that we have to not let it separate us from nature. For example, I go to the park and people are not looking at the trees; they're looking at the farm. So you know, they go to the beach to look at the farm. They go to the mountain to look at the farm. So I think that there are parts in the comic where you're in a forest, the few forests that are left. So that's like some kind of analogy to how I think we should reconnect with Mother Nature and all of that. So
I
that's more of the angle right now. But of course, there's going to be more stuff which will be mentioned as we reveal the story uh, regarding how technology can be used incorrectly and how I think it can be used in a way that it helps us to connect as people, as human beings.
that dude, look, that sincerely sounds phenomenal, Ariel. And look, I want everybody, like I said, to go click the link in the description right now, or you can go over to Ariel's full interview, which is episode 3 of the questionnaire. That link, I believe, is in that description as well, isn't it, Ariel? Didn't I do that? I did that, right? I think I did that. I don't know. Maybe I didn't do that. It's at least in this one. I know that for a fact, right? And get to kickstarting some comics, ladies and gentlemen, because that's what it's about. You need to get your comic on, right? At Alita 3017, right? Check it out. Did you hear that story? How crazy is that? How crazy is that? You're going to have werewolves, witches, and some cyber disease. Bro, that's terrifying.
And badass
Coyotes.
female warriors.
Yeah.
Like, come on
Which is-
now. It's everything everybody wants.
Hey,
Yeah,
and
I
on
mean,
that note,
there's a lot of action. I see a lot of people who want to see more action and sci-fi in comics and all that. There are elements of horror movies also in the story. So if you want to see that, if you're demanding to see that kind of stuff, here's your chance.
so make sure you click that link. And damn it, I was demanding these interviews not go over 16 minutes. So that's what's up. Have a good night, y'all.
Bye.